Welcome to Future Role Model, a podcast that praises the unconventional and redefines what it means to be a role model. I am your host, Natasha Pearl Hansen, and today I have another former three-namer, but you have dropped the middle, apparently, Craig P. Conant.
Ooh, ooh. What's up?
I can't believe people can't handle the fill-up.
I know I liked it, but it's just...
I'm a three-namer, and I just embrace the fact that if I wasn't a three-namer, I would just be Natasha Hansen, the Danish cyclist from the Olympics 5 years ago.
You know, like for flyers, like it'd get cut to Craig Conant, and then...
Yeah.
I like Craig Philip Conant, because that, you know, it's... But, like... America, come on.
People need
It's
simple.
hard enough to remember one name, let alone two, let alone three, so I was like, I give in.
CPC is such a great initial set, though.
All right, I'll change it back.
Change it back. So how you been, man? I haven't hung out with you in quite some time, but I remember early days at the Comedy Store with you and being like, this guy is just so fucking fun and hilarious.
Thank you. Yeah. I remember early love from you. I was brand new, and you had me host your show at Busby's East.
Yes, Busby's. Yes.
And I was like, you want me to host? I was like, I still don't know how to host.
You're fun. You're just
Oh,
fun. You
fuck
kind
it.
of just go with the flow, I feel like.
And you had me on your Belly Room show.
Yeah, probably a couple times. I used to have that show for like 3 years.
Yeah.
I finally have one again.
So thank you.
Yes, of course.
I'll never forget that.
So, talk to me, Goose. You've been sober for how long?
Almost 6 years
Almost
now.
6 years now. Yeah, because we would have met probably 7 or 8 ago when I first moved to LA. When did you move here?
No, we met, because I met you right when
When
I
you moved.
started. No, I'm
Or-
born and raised here.
Oh, okay. When you started comedy.
We
then.
met probably 5 years ago,
Maybe. Okay.
because, yeah.
Because you were already sober when I met you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I only did stand-up maybe 6 months to a year fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got sober, and thank God, and it filled the void.
Yeah.
And even that first initial, you know how when you have like a foot in and a foot out?
Yeah.
When I was getting high and drunk and pills and all that jazz, I didn't really take the leap. But then once I got sober, I was like, oh, let's fill this void with this.
Yeah. Did you feel like your mind was more clear instantly once you stopped?
Absolutely. I was terrified. So when you're drinking and drugging, for most of you kids out there, you're afraid you're not going to be funny.
Yeah.
You're not going to be yourself. But then, hey, guess what? You're more funny.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can think.
Because you're fucking present in the moment, and you're not. Whenever I listen to those old sets, which I never do, but when I did, it was always more angry and had more cuss words because, you know, you're just drunk and you're like, you think cussing's funny.
Yeah.
It's like, cussing's fine. I cuss all the fucking time. Hey. But like, cussing's like salt and pepper, you know? It seasons the food. You don't need to have it be the whole entree.
Yeah.
And when
That's
I
a
was
really good
drunk,
analogy.
When I was shit-faced on stage,
You would just be like, fucking this
fucking
and
motherfucking
fucking that.
and I was like, I cuss for sure, but I don't cuss like that.
Yeah, you don't use it like as an adjective, an adverb,
Yeah.
a noun.
Every word in the sentence, fucking motherfucker, fucker.
Fuck you, you fucking fuck.
Yeah. Fuck your motherfucker, you think you're slick? Asking me for some money. Ask that bitch for some money if you can name that quote. I love you.
Oh, yeah, I can't.
It's Friday.
Oh.
I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, that is a good movie. I haven't seen that in a long time. And when you first started comedy, I know you're not at Trader Joe's anymore, but that was a big thing of yours was
Oh, yeah.
the Trader Joe's.
I got 45 minutes on Trader Joe's, dude. I worked there 11 goddamn years, so.
Oh my God. So what was that experience like for you just as a person? Was it humbling? Was it?
It was horrible. It was horrible. Everyone's like, oh, Trader Joe's a good job. Go fuck yourself, all right? Nobody grows up wanting to stack canned goods.
No, they
Nobody
don't.
dreams of that. With all that being said, Trader Joe's is a legit fucking job, and there was a reason there. I was 11 years. They max you out at $24 an hour. They give you benefits, full-time, fucking optical, dental, health,
That is pretty
paid
crazy.
time off, 401k. So it is a good goddamn job. And that's why I was there for so long, and that's why so many people say, oh, it's a good job. It is a good job. Now, did I want to do that fucking job? No, I didn't want to.
Yeah.
But I did what I had to fucking do because I need to pay my bills.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
that's the thing is that a lot of people still, shit on that when it comes to comedy or when it comes to being in entertainment, you have to be able to, God, what do they call it? Like diversify your income. Even if you can live off stand-up, most people don't want to.
Yeah.
Like I could live off stand-up, but it would be a very unfortunate living.
I have a very low overhead for that exact
Right.
reason.
Yeah.
I could survive. I basically could live decent and live the life I need to want to live, like $1,500 a month, and
Wow.
I could pull it off at 12. But I like to buy new shit, man. This new
Well,
shirt.
and you like to and I like to travel. And granted, you know, I set it up so I am touring and like able to make good money when I travel. But I also like to have fun. Like when me and Rachel were just touring in Europe, like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna go and eat dinner with you because I'm like, I'm gonna fucking go out. We're in Paris, you know. I
Yeah.
need to like experience life a little bit too.
Well, you're smart. You hustle. I say fuck travel, and I mean, if work allows me to travel, then I'll travel. But vacations for later in life when I got money.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
now, I don't have a kitchen, so I need to stay on that hustle.
Right. Well, that's why I don't vacation. I haven't taken an actual vacation in probably 6 years, and the last one I took was like for 4 days in Mexico. But everything I do is working. But I love what we do,
Yeah.
so I don't care.
So it doesn't count.
It doesn't
you know?
feel like tragic. It's not like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going on this business meeting and
Oh
I'm just going to
no,
sit inside.
I have to go to San Francisco to do what I love.
I have to go hang out all day with people I enjoy and then spend 2 hours at night on stage.
Yeah.
And then go out for beers afterwards with my audience. It's terrible.
It's terrible.
See, and I openly really like to drink. So it's always interesting for me with sober friends or, you know, other comics I know that have stopped using anything to just hear what that's like for them. Because I don't drink before shows.
As you shouldn't.
I quit doing
Unless
that.
you're
Like,
Jim Jeffries, put the
Right?
bottle down.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean,
And
for
even Jim,
even-
put the bottle down.
right?
I'm just kidding. You're
He's so funny.
good.
I was just watching him yesterday. I've been watching every special I love over again because I'm shooting mine next weekend. And so, yeah, it's just, I just have been reminding myself what I love about little people's nuances.
Yeah.
And some comics are so crisp and so thoughtful, like Jeselnik. And some comics are a little bit more free even in their specials, like
yeah, Bill Burr
D'Elia
just
or like
free
Bill
flow,
Burr.
or- Yeah,
Mhm.
D'Elia just silly goose
And there's-
fucking around, you know?
There's that portion of it that I really enjoy in a lot
Yeah.
of people. Like I can, obviously as comics, we will watch anybody perform and we'll appreciate the way that they do it. But I'm definitely more of the latter where I like to just have a little bit of freedom and rather than stress about every single word.
Yeah.
But I've decided to cut out all drinking and anything for the next week, just so I'm clear-headed when I go into shoot. And then I was like, the second I walk off stage, though, you can line up the shots. I will get Craig.
Get that cocaine. Just kidding.
Rails on rails on rails.
Whee!
But because it was supposed to be my wedding, so everyone that's going to be there is.
Your wedding is your special?
My special is called "I Was Supposed to Get Married Today" because I'm not getting married now.
Oh, you're not?
Mhm.
Well, I don't even want to know. You don't have to talk about.
I'm still engaged, but this episode comes out
Oh, it's
tomorrow.
not
which will be
bad
cool.
then.
No, it's not bad. We can't seem to get it together, and our 2 years of engagement has been tough. So I was like, we had this venue, and we were locked into a contract with it. So I was like, you know what? I have so much to say on this. I'm going to make it into my special.
Yeah.
And so I'm shooting it on my wedding day at my
God hands you
special.
lemons, you shoot a fucking special, baby. That's what we
Exactly.
do.
So we brought in a dope ass camera crew. It's going to be shot like a eloquent wedding video, which will be really cool. It'll be like the first.
That's so funny.
It's going to be cool, and it's like everyone from like my high school teachers, my parents, my maid of honor, like everyone's going to be there.
You shoot your special in a wedding dress. I'll shoot mine at Trader Joe's.
You should. Oh my god.
The fucking grocery
Hawaiian
store
shirt.
special.
You should. You should. Oh my
They won't
god.
let me. They
That would
won't
be-
even let me shop there anymore.
Just set it up like in the background. Whenever you shoot your special, set it up like a Trader Joe's aisle with canned goods
Yeah.
and
Bananas.
with
I
like a
suck them
checkout
bananas.
desk instead of a stool, and you wear a fucking Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
Do you know how fun that would be?
I'll make the audience wear Hawaiian shirts. I don't feel comfortable in Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, you're over that part of your life.
I'm just so weird. Like, I have a uniform. Like, I came in with my hair up, and I was like, uh-oh, we're doing a podcast. I better put it down. And just last night, I had a busy day. Like, I did dodgeball and hung out with my family. And then my buddies were at the Comedy Store, Ahmed and Abby. They had the belly room. So I never showered, and I had my hair up in a top knot, which is fine. But, like, in the scene, I have hair down hat, you know? So I went to the Comedy Store with my hair up, you know, and I just felt weird.
You felt like they
And
didn't know who you were.
Yeah, and even people were like, oh, you look different. I'm like, I'm still Craig.
Yeah, this is my face.
I'm just such a weirdo. Like, I can't even wear Nikes. Like, I have to wear Vans. If I do, I'm in my head like, people are going to know. It's like, who? It's just,
Oh, that's so funny. So you feel like you have to have this uniform.
well, I've
be
been wearing this uniform since I was 5 years old. You know, like T-shirt, jeans, Vans,
Yeah.
flannel,
Yeah.
since my whole life. So when I'm not in that, if I'm in anything different, I feel funny.
That's so interesting.
Like, if I wear a nice sweater to a Christmas party, I'm like, I'm a fraud. Like, give me a Pendleton flannel, you know? Like, I can't do this.
I can relate to that in some ways, not with my wardrobe by any means, but more so with the type of parties that I can handle being at. I've found myself begrudgingly leaving really quote unquote cool events early in Los Angeles because I was like, I can't handle that
at all anymore.
No, and I don't like the whole like facade of stuff. I want to hang out with people I actually enjoy.
Yes.
And a lot of times I don't enjoy people at these events.
Yes.
And I have
because
no
not
problem.
all the time, but a lot of times there are people that are kind of fake. Not always, you know, there's always good people in every situation, but it's just more people that are like, ooh, shiny object. And like, as we're us, I think we've been in Hollywood long enough to where that shininess wears off, and you're like, I just want to be with my friends at a diner. I don't give a fuck about this
exactly
big bougie event. And where in my past, I would love and live for those events. Like, ooh, let's go to this is an album release party. And it's like, I don't even know the artist. Who gives a fuck?
Right? Well, and exactly when I've been invited to things and I'm like, I'm not in this festival. I'm not on this show. What am I doing? Just hanging out? Like, this is weird. Like, you know, and the biggest thing for me that I noticed a number of years ago when I stopped going to certain events was the lack of curiosity from strangers. And by that, I mean, when you have a conversation with somebody, it should be a conversation. You should like care about the other person and be curious about something about them. Otherwise,
you don't care anymore, right?
Yeah. And then,
what happened to us?
I know.
I don't give a fuck. I'm like, oh, shut up, man.
Yeah.
Stop fucking talking. I don't give a fuck about your Nana, bro.
I don't want to hear
kidding.
a lot of these.
Nana.
Yeah, a lot of these people, I'm just like, man, you just came up to me, introduced yourself, and told me your whole life story, and like that's great, but you don't even know my name yet.
But it also depends, because there's sometimes where you're like, whoa, I want to hear more out of this fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's rare, and most of the time it's like, how do I get out of this conversation?
Yeah, for sure. But I've enjoyed. I love getting to that space. I just was on somebody else's podcast the other day and was talking about how humbling comedy is, and I was like, sometimes you're on the billboard and sometimes you're in the basement, and it's such a true statement.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm, you know, even though I'm shooting my special this weekend, it's something I'm self-producing, and it's something I've had to put a lot of work into myself. And I know that the next day, like 2 days later, I'm performing on this tiny bar stage as part of a Madison comedy festival, and I'm like, this is just our life, dude. This is our life.
I have jokes about it, as well as it just happened to me Saturday night, but I used to say, like, I opened up for Dalia and do you know, theater gigs, and then I would wake up and go work at Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
And it literally happened, and it's a joke. It's also the truth, but I did a theater gig with Dalia, woke up, worked at Trader Joe's, and they're like, Craig, we need you to go clean the toilets. And I went from performing in front of 2,000 people, sold out fanatics, to a fucking turd in the toilet. And I was like, damn, that's life. You know?
Yeah.
That's fucking brutal.
It's a smack in the face, man. But it keeps things like, that's why comics are so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Because we've seen both sides of the spectrum a lot. And you grew up out here.
Yeah.
So your family's all still out here?
Yeah.
What was your young life like? Like, what were you doing at a young age, or did you realize you were a performer early?
No. I mean, I always knew, you know, as they say, it's just in you, you know. I didn't, I didn't know, but I knew. I was always class clown, knucklehead, mischief,
Yeah.
motherfucker, you know?
Like, give examples. Like what would-
Firecrackers, fart bombs, stink bombs, itching powder, just jumping
Oh,
off
God.
roofs.
Oh, so
Just
shit.
jackass shit before Jackass. And then, of course, Jackass came, and I was like, I love them.
Oh, of course.
That's my...
I should be friends with these people.
Yeah, the reason Jackass was so big, because that's like 70% of guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're all jumping off roofs. They took it to extreme levels and didn't give a fuck about breaking bones. I skateboarded once I broke my leg. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
That shit hurts, guys. Nobody.
Yeah.
What?
Broken bones are no joke, and getting your balls kicked, I'm sure, hurts very bad. And
I'm done.
Yeah.
I got a hematoma on my left testicle when I was 15. I'm done.
Ooh,
I
you
dropped a
did
bag
for
of
real?
cement on it. It's a new bit I've
How
been
did you
running.
even do
It's been
that?
hitting.
To explain how you dropped a bag of cement on a testicle. Were
Okay,
you
don't let
sitting-
me forget to finish the comedian through thought, because I forget everything.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, I was helping my uncle do labor shit. You know, I'm half Mexican. It's my Mexican uncle, so we're like pouring cement and brickwork and shit. And he had a truck full of cement, and the cement was near the front of the truck. You know, and so I was picking up these bags of cement. Nobody tells you bags of cement are like 60, 90 pounds. They're fucking heavy. They're real heavy.
Yeah.
So I was picking it up, carrying it to the end of the truck, setting it down, jumping off the truck bed, and then picking it up again. And so, like, I was unloading the cement. After, like, 8, 9 sacks of cement, I was on the last sack of cement. And I was like, man, fuck setting it down, getting off. I was like, I'm just going to jump off the truck bed with it in my arms. So I had it, holding it like this, like a baby, you know. And then I jumped off, and of course, gravity and weight, and I'm not strong. And it just slipped through my arms, and it landed on my ball sack. But like it hit like it was like a pain in a funny way, you know, not like a punch to the dick. That's instant. That hurts. That'll go away. It's still brutal. But this was like a, oh no, like this is gonna come back. This is gonna get me.
Oh, shit.
And then I still was fine. It was like weird. I had a little limp. I was like, uh-oh. So I finished helping my Uncle Gilbert work on shit. And then the next morning, everything was fine. I went to bed, and then I woke up the next morning for school. I was in high school at this time, and I went to take one step, and I just collapsed. And I was like, like I couldn't walk. And then I looked at my nutsack, and my left testicle was just fucking
Giant.
the size of a tennis ball, just one.
Ugh.
And then I was like, Mom, come look at my nuts, you know? And I was a weird kid. She's like, what the, she doesn't cuss, but she's like, what the fuck?
What was that?
Was that a train horn?
Yeah,
What
is
the
there a
fuck's going on
train?
out there? It's my
Sounded
uncle, my uncle and his lowrider over there.
That was the weirdest noise. Okay.
So then I said, Mom, look at my ball. And then she's like, no. And then I was like, no, like, look. And then she said, oh, shit, let's go to the ER or the, emergency room. And I go, and the doctor just sees my fat left nut, and he just starts laughing at me. And I was like, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to
it.
laugh at a kid's ball sack. I remember thinking that, even as a kid, just not knowing nothing. I was like, why are you laughing at my... Anyways, he said, you got to ice your nutsack every day, all day. You got a hematoma. It's fluid and blood accumulated underneath the skin. And then he's like, ice it every day, all day. And if it doesn't go down, we'll have to drain your balls. I was like, what do you mean drain my ball? A ball. It was just one ball. I don't know how. It only got the left, but it did. And then I was like, what do you mean drain? And he's like, we'll stick a needle in it and drain it. I was like, what? I was like, is that painful? He goes, extremely. I was like, oh, Jesus. So I iced my nutsack all day, every day, till like fucking... normally
To the
you
point
ice
of
your...
actual blue balls.
Yes. Till I actually said this on stage. I was like, I had numb nuts, but it wasn't even like a pun or intended. Because I was just like, I iced my nuts till they were numb. And I was like, oh, shit, I had numb nuts. And then... But, like, you know how you ice your arm, like, 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off? Like, this was the point where I just left the ice on my nuts, and I was like, I'm not getting a needle in there. So I just left it. I was just like a little dick all week. And then finally, a week went by, and right before I was supposed to go to the doctor, uh, I went to, it was like a movie. I went to bed fat nut, and then I woke up and it was reduced. I was like, oh my God, thank God. So he did not have to drain my nutsack.
Thank God.
But then I went to school. I missed a week of school, you know, because I couldn't walk because of my fucking ball sack. And then my mom she's a sweetheart, so I had pain. It was so painful. It was very painful. And so she froze little high C juice boxes for me to put on my ball sack when I was in school because it would just start to hurt. It would start throbbing, you know?
Yeah.
And then I remember I was in silent reading class, and I had my balls were fucking hurting real bad, you know? And so I couldn't take it. And silent reading is fucking quiet. So I'm opening my backpack, brown paper bag, plastic bag, you know, and I was just like, oh, fuck it. And I just went for it, and I undid my pants, and I went, oh, and I put on my ball sack. It felt so good because this is ice. It puts the fire out. And I remember this one girl, Sarah Schuster, was looking at me like, why is your pants open? Why are your hands in your pants? And what are you doing over there? And I didn't know how to tell her, like, nah, I got a hematoma on my left testicle. I got to ice my balls. It hurts real bad. So I just kind of looked at her like, what's up, girl? You know, because I had a crush on her. She had big titties. And then she just looked at me like a pervert. What are you going to do?
Did anything ever happen with Sarah?
No, nothing. I got her number, and I would text or call her or page her. I don't even know what we did back then. I'm 35.
Notes,
I'm a little
yeah.
old.
I'm 34, and we didn't have
We didn't do
phones yet,
text.
really.
Nobody texts back then. I called her on the phone, called her house landline, and nothing ever came of it. What are you going to do?
I hope she hears this at some point. And it's
I
just
know.
like,
Hey.
man, I really missed out on that hematoma. So I want to get back to the comedian through line, though, because you said you used to.
Oh, yeah, like, I was just the class clown, always. Always.
What was, like, one of the biggest pranks you played in your school? Was there anything you were notorious for?
I had stink bombs, fart bombs. I like the fart bombs. They smell stronger, but not as long. And I remember my buddy was, like, in the class taking a test, and I just put my hand in the window, popped the fart bomb, and dropped it. And he knew exactly who it was, and then they just heard a boom. And then,
And
and they had to evacuate the class. I'm like, ah.
That's amazing. So you got him out of taking a test.
Yeah, but he was smart, and he's like, I was acing that test. And I was like,
shit.
That's what you get for being a nerd.
I didn't ever do anything that clever to get out of a test, but one of my friends did, you know how you can get those sprays for when you're hunting, like deer hunting?
Yeah.
They smell like different things to attract animals. They got a skunk one and put it in the air ducts during a big test day.
Yeah.
So that it like half the school had to be evacuated. They were looking for a skunk.
It's
It
awesome.
was actually really smart because
That
you
is so
can't,
smart.
right?
See, I did fart bombs.
I wish
They
I
knew.
was.
They knew.
They knew.
They knew it was me. They
I
had
wish I
no
was
proof. Keep
clever
your
enough.
mouth shut.
The-
Never say nothing.
We would do stuff like we put a piece of fish in our friend's car. One of our friends played hockey, and we'd always make fun of him because his car smelled like shit. Like any of those hockey football gear, it all
That's
stunk.
not their fault because even if you're clean, those just pads get sweaty.
So
and
gross.
You're fucked.
Yeah, it
Unless
smelled wretched.
Unless you're rich at NHL swapping out pads every day, you're just gonna stink.
Exactly. So we put a piece of fish in one of our friend's car and forgot about it. It was actually in the end of winter. And so come spring, you know, he was like, I can't get this hockey smell out of my car. And it was actually this like rotting piece of
Isn't
fish
it funny how you do
we
shit like
forgot
that and then you
about.
forget about it? You're like, oh shit, I'm sorry.
We did. We were
I'm
like,
so sorry.
we were like, I'm so sorry you dealt with that. Like the stinkiest car in springtime.
I put a dead fish, a whole yellowtail. I mean, like 3 foot.
Oh, fuck.
Because my buddy said, I love fish and eating it and shit. And he's a fisherman. And he went fishing. He's like, hey, I caught a yellowtail. You want some fish? I was like, yeah. And then he brings it over, and it's not filleted, vacuum sealed, sealer bags.
It's
you
just
know,
loose?
It's all whole fish. I was like, and it was frozen. It's like, I can't even fillet this right. Like this
What am I
isn't what I
supposed to do?
expected. So then I just put it in my garage freezer for like, and then it sat because I didn't want to deal with it. So it sat there for like 6 months to a year, whatever, long time. And everybody opened my freezer. We'd laugh. And one time we were drunk, and we're like, let's go put it in the car. And we just walked around the neighborhood trying to open up strangers' cars alarms going off, and then finally one poor bastard, their car was open, and we just put it on the back seat floor, back floor, and then put a little newspaper over to hide it. And still to this day, I have no clue what poor unfortunate soul that was. And they just woke up to a whole dead fish, and they probably like, is this a mafia like putting a hit on me, or do I have enemies? Like, who'd I piss off?
That person has been
Strangers.
scared the rest of their life since that day.
Random.
They're just walking
And I'm
around in
sorry.
fear. Oh my God. I'm trying to think too. We had a couple other good ones. We used to pick up dog shit out of our friend's yard and put it in our friends' cars too.
Damn, that's fucked up.
Under the passenger seat.
I would do the classic in the paper bag, light it on fire. Mm-hmm. But always strangers' houses. I never did it to friends.
The only thing I would do to friends is usually like when my friends were high, like I would try to do something to fuck. There was one night they were all in a friend's dorm watching a movie, and I had I always had double stuffed Oreos. I used to love them. So I took a whole column of them and twisted them open, scooped out the middle, and put toothpaste in the center and closed them back. So from the side, it was still the cream, but inside it was just crust. And I came back in and was eating a normal one, and everyone's like, oh, can I have one? And I presented the column with all the toothpaste ones. And everybody just ate like 3 or 4 of them. And then finally I started laughing, and they were all like, what? And I was like, there's toothpaste in there. And my friend was like, that's why it was so delicious, because it was like minty. It like didn't even fuck with them that much.
They're like, oh man, I'm going to make this as a party snack.
Yeah, they were like, this is delightful. We should do this more often.
Yeah.
I was like, that backfired. Totally backfired. What was young Craig like? I mean, at what point did you start getting into drinking and drugs or partying and all that stuff?
I started smoking weed at 12.
Oh, that's fucking young.
I started drinking at maybe 15.
Yeah,
I was always stealing sips of beer and whiskey. Since, I don't know, fucking 5, 4.
Yeah.
I don't even know. It was always around. But never got drunk. Just like, oh, I'm not supposed to do this. Just to taste it. Yeah, just started getting fucked up. And then started drinking heavy in high school.
Yeah.
And then narcotics crept in at maybe about 21, the bar scene.
Well, what was partying like here? Like, because I grew up in the Midwest where we would use like a field or a bonfire, anything we could find to become a party space.
House
What
parties.
was it? Was it house parties?
Always house parties whose parents were out of town. My poor mom, she had to take care of her dying parents, my grandparents. She was gone a lot, not because she was a bad mom, because she had to do what she had to do. And I would take advantage of that. So there was so many parties at my house.
Ugh.
We partied there 3 to 5 times a week.
Were you in LA proper, or were you in the valley suburbs?
Torrance, South Bay.
Okay.
I grew up in Torrance and Lomita, Redondo Beach.
Do you feel like that was a little bit safer as far as like being removed from the Hollywood scene? 'Cause I hear stories of kids growing up in Hollywood or in Beverly Hills, and I'm like, fuck.
Well, that's just
so
money.
much.
That's
Yeah.
just money. When you have money, you get higher in drugs. So I was in West Torrance, which is middle class, upper middle class, but
Yeah.
I was on the lower middle class spectrum,
Right.
money-wise. But South High and Palos Verdes, I mean, kids every year died of heroin because they could afford it.
Fuck.
So all those kids did coke and heroin, and we wanted to, but we didn't have the money because that shit's expensive.
It is. So you had
So
weed?
we did weed and alcohol.
Yeah.
It was those were our drugs of choice by default because of financial reasons. But those rich kids, yeah, they
They had
always
access
got
to
into
everything.
that shit.
Yeah, and like even to this day, I wouldn't even know. I haven't smoked, and that's what's funny is I smoked weed a lot back in the day when it was shitty weed. I loved shitty weed, apparently. But when I moved to LA and there were, dispensaries and stuff, even before it was legal, I would try the weed here and be like, fuck, I can't handle this. I'm too
I
fucked up.
hated. I was spoiled. I mean, I had OG Kush before it was called OG Kush.
Yeah.
So I started off.
You started with the fine
fucking
grains.
Crazy. I would get stress and swag and schnickel fits, whatever you want to call it. We called it stress back then, sticks and C's. But I remember buying an ounce off my cousin because it was $40. It's like, do I want an eighth or an ounce? So it's like, oh, I'll get an ounce and I'll flip it. And yeah, I made money, but like we just got headaches and the seeds explode if you put them in the joint. So that was the first and last ounce I ever bought.
Yeah.
And you know, my cousins sometimes were ghetto and it might be laced with speed or PCP, and you're just like, I don't want that.
Yeah. And, well,
I'm
and
trying to
that's
get high off weed, not
not a
tweaked
bunch of
out.
other shit. Yeah. And the first time, I mean, there was one time I smoked a bowl in high school. It was my senior year of high school, and they were like, that had hash in it, and I was like, what? And I don't even think I know what hash is to this day.
It's just concentrate THC.
Oh, is that all? Oh, okay.
It's not. There's no narcotics in it. I'm sure there can be, but
Right.
hash is just weed, just
I was like, what did you guys do to me? I'm going to become an addict. And I didn't at all. I was fine.
It's just concentrate weed. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
You're scared of it.
I was scared of a lot of stuff, which is good. I mean, because my mom grew up in South Side of Chicago. So thankfully for her, she would tell me all these stories of like, you know, different things she was exposed to. And then I was like, I'll just keep it safe and get drunk and high. That was like my thing
Yeah.
too. And also probably because I was like in a suburb, upper middle class, but we were like lower end of
Yeah.
that spectrum too. And so it's like, I didn't feel that kind of pressure to like do.
So you're mixed too. You're biracial too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have like, for me, my white family, like, not house on the hill, but I'm just mean, it's so like literally I go to Mexican side and there's
So
fucking
different.
the hood and there's bullet holes in the car across the
Yeah.
street, and I go to my uncle's house on the white side. It's house on the hill with the ocean view.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly
is it like
the
that
same.
for you?
Yeah. Like in Wisconsin, my family, like everybody's just really well put together. My aunt and uncle have a house on the river. My other uncle has a house in the country. And like, it's just, it's just nice. When I spend an afternoon with that side of my family, it's just like slow progression into a couple glasses of wine. And then we'll like have a nice time. And on my mom's side of the family in Chicago, couldn't be more different. And when I used to go there when I was a kid, my mom used to get me really scared. She'd be like, don't hang out in your auntie's neighborhood outside without anybody with you. But after a while, you just kind of,
Yeah.
nobody cares. You're just part of the family. Nobody's going to bother you. But yeah, bullet holes, sketchy shit,
Yeah.
drugs.
Shit was fun, man.
But it was fun. My auntie's
was
house
so
is
fun.
the most fun.
There's 45 kids because everybody's having kids.
Yeah, all
kids
the
are
kids
having kids.
Yep. And they were like, we at my auntie's house, we used to throw a luau every summer. And I used to joke about this way back in the day, but it was like, they would call it a luau, but it was just a rinky-dink dance floor in the yard and some lays. And that was the only thing Hawaiian about it.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't any Hawaiian food. It was just normal food. But we used to just party at my aunt's house, just like get down, and until like 3 a.m.
Yeah, my Uncle Oscar's house, he lived off Dinker in the hood, and we used to just light off fireworks and shoot their guns in the air.
Oh, shit.
And it was just fucking lit, man.
Do you resonate with one side of your family more or the other?
No, because I am both. I really am both. Sometimes I like just the quiet white side, and then sometimes I like that rowdy fucking Mexican side. You
Yeah,
know?
no, I totally agree.
But even my white side, they get down though. They party. They like to gamble in Vegas and drink, and
Different kind of party.
they love to gamble.
Yeah.
But they're good at it.
I wish I was good at gambling. I don't even know how you can make that a thing. But one of my friends is a pro poker player, and he lives in Vegas right now, and he is killing the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wish I had that ability, but I'm too expressive. If I played poker, I'd be fucked.
Yeah, I don't.
You ever tried?
I stayed away. I did it for 2 months.
Oh, really?
When Rounders came out, I was like, oh, that's cool.
I know. It's funny how movies like that inspire certain things. You're like, yeah, I could totally count cards, or like whatever different movies have come out over the years.
Yeah.
When Ocean's 11 came out, I was like, yeah, I could totally do that.
And my dad's just pro gambler. He got laid off 30 years ago, and he was like, I'll just gamble.
And that's what he does?
Yeah, drives a new car, has a nice place,
Shit.
buys me stuff for my birthday.
Good.
Takes us on vacation.
Did you tell him to buy you a kitchen, right?
I know. I know. I need to. Not yet. Very close, though.
Do you have siblings, too?
Yeah, 2 older sisters.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So do you feel like you have a really good relationship with women because of that?
Yeah, of course. I was surrounded by women my whole life.
Yeah.
And even like I said, I'm half Mexican.
It's a very
I have
Mexican thing
60
too.
cousins.
Yeah.
Only 4 guys. I don't know what happened, but it's all women. So I've completely been surrounded by women my entire life.
Yeah.
And I love it and I'm fine with it. And I don't know. I guess that's why I'm just
Why you're so sensitive?
yeah,
I don't
for
even know if
sure.
you are.
I'm so sensitive.
So sensitive.
I'm sensitive. I'm sensitive towards women just because it's like, hey, yeah, we want to rub your booty, but you could be a gentleman about it,
Exactly. Exactly. Well, and so after you started partying in high school, because I started drinking about the same time, 15, and I joke about that now because I feel like I'm really good at drinking.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it because I'm a happy drinker, but I've seen a lot of people obviously go off the deep end with it.
Oh, yeah.
And so when did you switch over into the narcotics or more of the like nightlife side of stuff?
Pills. It starts off good old America, pharmaceutical companies. Thank you for giving children narcotics because we get hooked real fast.
Yep.
And it's just like in the movies, like my buddy gets a bottle of Adderall or Vicodin or both, and we take one to party to have fun, and then we take 2, and then we take 4, and then we take 10, and then we stop sharing, and then you drop one on the ground, and you're like, who the fuck stole my shit?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it just goes downhill real fast. And then you take 500 milligram Vicodin to 750s, then you take 1,000 milligram Norcos, then you take Oxycontins, and back then they made 80 milligram Oxys, but too many kids started dying, so they outlawed those and they made time release. But back when I was on them, we had 80s, and we snort them and smoke them, and I almost said snort them, smoke them, sniff them. Snorting them is sniffing them.
Yeah, it is. I
And
mean,
then-
I guess it's a different style. Snorting is a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah. And then
Sniff is light.
and then I remember lining up powder and inhaling them with the straw going because it hit you like instantly. Because actually under the tongue and in your booty hole is the quickest way for narcotics to get into your system. Besides, of course, shooting them in your bloodstream. Thank God I never got into that. All my buddies, like right when my buddies started graduating to shooting heroin, I was like, oh fuck, I'm out.
Good. Yeah.
Because I knew if I did that, I would fall in love. And then I always knew, I was smart enough to know, yeah, I'm doing this stupid, deviant behavior, but I need to get out. I always knew I needed to get out, even though I was so deep in it. And then, like, when my buddies started shooting up and they offered me to shoot up, I was like, I really, really wanted to because I knew I was going to love it. But I was just like, I can't because then that would add like 5 years to my exit strategy.
Right. Yeah.
It's like if I shoot up, that's another 5. Like I always said, like, my grandma was passing on to the next world, and she had liquid morphine, Dilaudid, liquid Vicodin. She had everything because she was passing.
Right.
And she couldn't take pills, so they gave her liquid shit. So I'd just be fucking swigging liquid morphine. And,
Dude.
oh, so good.
I've never gotten into narcotics. I actually hate pills a lot. But I had broken my leg in college and gotten a bunch of Vicodin. I didn't like how it made me feel. And then, so I didn't take it. And then shortly thereafter, I had to get my tonsils removed, and they had to give me liquid morphine because I couldn't swallow pills. And I didn't take it either.
I love it.
And I saved it in my fridge. And months later, we didn't have enough booze. And so
Oh, fuck yeah.
I took like
Little
3
morphine
shots of
vodka
Captain
soda?
and a shot of that. And it was like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I
Yeah.
got up to go walk to my friend's dorm and my legs just collapsed.
Yeah.
And I was like crawling to her
Welcome
room.
home, baby.
Dude, I was like, I'm never putting this in my body again. What the fuck?
It's weird how people, because in high school, like some kids would try that shit and they'd get dope sick and be like, never again. And like for most of me and my buddies, we were just grungy kids, and we tried it and we're like, oh, this is heaven. this is my It's my G spot.
How long were you doing all that stuff before you became? Because it took you a while to become sober.
Yeah, I was on narcotics probably maybe 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. I don't know. You lose track. At a
Dang.
minimum of 5. Well, like I don't know when to count it. Like when I was heavy, probably a good 5 years. But like total, like well, trying it in progression of being before I was an addict. I don't know, maybe like 7, 8 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And so when you got out of high school and during this time where you were on narcotics, what were you doing? Like, what were you doing for life?
Everything. I was a pizza delivery boy, a bus boy, a server, a painter. I was in the carpenters union. I was a
What?
promotional spokesmodel. I handed out samples at like
Malls.
Ozfest and
Yeah.
malls and
Yeah.
the Grove or anywhere where there's people. Fucking. I was a realtor. I was a mortgage. I sold mortgages.
So you got your real estate license in
Yeah.
this time?
Yeah. Adderall, baby.
Dude. Wait, so you've had like 15 different lives and careers already.
Yeah.
That's pretty nuts. Were you good at selling houses, or was there a reason why you decided
Yeah.
to keep moving on from job to job?
I sold one house. It was my mother's. That is a joke of mine, but it is also just a true sentence. I just I was good at whatever I put my mind to because I don't know, despite my appearance, I'm kind of smart. Passed my real estate license on drugs my first time. Fuck yeah.
Did you go to did you take courses for that, or how do you
I
even?
just studied.
You just studied.
Yeah.
So you can just take the test without having to actually go through any official.
Well, back then you just took the test, and now it's you need 3 It's still very easy. I think you need to take 3 courses and take the test. Oh, back then you did. I remember I had to take Real Estate 101 at El Camino Community College. It's the only time I went to college was for the one class. Before you had to take 1 class and then you could take the test. Now you have to take 3 classes. Or I don't know, it may have even changed. It's not hard.
Yeah, it's
You
pretty
just
interesting.
can't have a record of fraud. You could have a violent record of I think you can murder somebody, get out and get your real estate license.
You just
But
can't
if
be a
you
fraud.
if you cashed a bad check or did that, then you can't.
Oh shit.
Which is kind of weird.
That's super interesting.
But I remember learning that in the class. I was like, so you could do armed robbery, but you can't do identity theft or thinking that.
Yeah.
This is
What if there should be a scale on that? Like, what if you cashed 1 bad check and it was for $40? Like that should.
yeah.
There should be a sliding scale of fraud.
I remember learning that and being like, this is odd.
I had Chris Newberg on last week's episode, and his mom and his grandpa were con artists, and his mom, that's what she used to do. She would cash bad checks.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, if I would have known that was a thing, I
That's
would have
a
taken
thing.
advantage of checks when we still had them.
That's so crazy.
Fuck.
I always saw that lifestyle and the matchstick
Yeah.
men and
Yes.
because I know people like that. They're always
Yeah.
trying to
I love
come
that
up on
movie.
people. A great movie.
Such a good movie.
But I'm like, the amount of energy you do in that shady business and that bad, dark energy, you could put that towards a
something
legit
positive.
business and then
Yeah.
just make a killing.
Off of something you like.
I always told that my drug dealer buddies, I'm like, you're such a hustler. I know the fucking illegal lifestyle is so much cooler and more fun, but you also get arrested
Yeah.
and you go to jail and you got a motherfucking family
And you're
now.
always stressed and worried about something,
Yeah.
getting caught. At least now all I stress about is the next thing I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
And selling tickets. It's not like I'm worried about somebody gunning for my life.
I don't have to worry about getting robbed or the police finding a pound of
Exactly.
marijuana. But when I sold weed, it was illegal. So now I say that, and it's like, oh, who cares? You weren't doing it in '99, motherfuckers.
Right, exactly.
That was jail. That was jail time.
Did you ever get in trouble for anything?
Of course, I got arrested 3 times. I got raided by the police,
Damn.
but it was never my fault.
Whose fault was it?
No, but my mama loves me. She bailed me out, and it was just little charges like drunk in public, possession of a lethal weapon, assault on police officers.
Yeah.
Assault on.
I laugh at that, like, because the assault thing. So I got an assault and battery charge because, God,
You threw pots and pans at your ex-boyfriend?
I wish he actually deserved it. So this was in Madison. So where I'm actually headed tonight on a red eye. In Madison every year, there's Mifflin Street Block Party, which is just a crazy shit show. They like block off everything, and all the frats have like kegger trucks and kegs in the house. It's just like a mess of people. And they arrest a bunch of people during Mifflin because they just can. There's a bunch of drunk people in the street, and they have buses that they just throw people on and arrest people, and they just charge them with different shit. You know, $60 tickets, $70 tickets, whatever they can. They just rake it in on Mifflin. So I had gotten arrested because I was carrying a glass bottle, and apparently you can't have glass in these kinds of zones.
Everybody knows that. Red cup. Red cup. They can't legally ask you what's in that cup.
Yeah, I know. I wish I would have known, but I was 21. So I was like, yeah, I got this. I'm drinking a Rolling Rock Green Light. And I was like, yeah, I'm 21. I can't get in trouble for shit now. So I got arrested for a glass. And then they put me on this bus, but they put me on with a bunch of sobbing, crying, like 17-year-old girls. And I was trying to rally them. I was like, I've gotten 3 underage drinking tickets and everything's going to be okay. And then this woman comes on. She's like, you sit down and shut up. And I was like, no, you don't tell me what to do. And then apparently when you say that to a cop and you tell him to fuck off, you can get an assault charge.
Really?
Yeah. I swore at her and because I was drunk. And so
I mean, what a bitch-ass, pussy-ass fucking cop.
She gave me an assault and battery fucking ticket.
She flipped me off. Assault. Go fuck yourself, you stupid pig.
Of course I'm going to tell you to fuck off because I'm drunk and I'm 21 and we're in a bus full of drunk people.
Yeah, this is why I hate cops. Not all cops. There's a lot of good cops. You've never been drunk and young and dumb?
Right?
You're going to fucking give her an assault charge for saying fuck off? That's what we do.
Yeah,
we're dumb. We're young. We're dumb.
But anyway, thankfully, because of my track record as a person, when I went to court for it, the judge dropped it. He's like, clearly you don't exhibit signs. I was a straight A student, and he was like, you clearly don't exhibit signs of somebody who deserves this kind of charge. And I was
fuck
like, thank
that
you.
cop.
I know, right?
They always overcharge because they know shit gets dropped. So they'll charge you with shit.
Uh-huh.
That's like, they exaggerate charges. You're like, hey, motherfucker, this is my life.
Right? You're like,
you don't exaggerate legal years on my freedom.
Right, exactly. And that's what I never understood. What was the worst thing that you got in trouble for?
The assault on the officers and the horse officers with the firecrackers.
How did that start?
That's why I say this is why I hate cops, because they exaggerate. The cops lied and said that I threw firecrackers underneath them and assaulted them. And I say that on stage because it's funnier.
Mm-hmm.
But what really happened, I was a dumb fucking drunken idiot, and I lit firecrackers, threw them on the ground over here, failed to notice a posse of sheriffs on horses over there because it's 4th of July, Hermosa Beach.
Yeah.
So there was fucking a battalion of them or whatever the fuck you call them. And then I lit them and looked up and went, oh no, like this is bad. And then so they went off, and it was just like the movies, you know, I'm walking through firecracker smoke, but it's crowded, so they don't know who did it. They didn't even know who did it, and then they said that I assaulted them. And really, I was a dumb, drunk kid that lit firecrackers and failed to notice there was 30 cops nearby.
Yeah.
And I was like, uh-oh. And you know, they went off. And they were walking towards me, and I was walking towards them. We're walking opposite directions. And I would, did the whole, like, please, God, if I get away with this, I'm never doing drugs again. I'll go hug my mother and all that shit.
Yeah.
And then I made it past them because they didn't know who did it. There's just a sea of people. And then some guy ratted me out. He's like, it was the guy with the bandana and the backpacker. He said something like that. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I just started running, and then they chased me, and they tackled me, and they got me.
Is that why you didn't become sober yet? Because God didn't let you get away with it?
Yeah, it took 4 more years. See, God?
God, you should have listened. What the fuck? Can you say what the fuck to God? Sorry.
Yeah, of course you can.
So what ended up happening from that? You didn't go to jail, right?
I got a lawyer, and I kept my mouth shut. Yeah, I went to jail.
Shit.
Okay, this is how fucked up the legal system is. If I was brown or black and had no lawyer, I would have done 2 years or more. I don't even know. But because of my complexion and I don't have my mother's last name. I got a lawyer, and then I just got community service, beach cleanup, freeway cleanup. I was banned from Hermosa Beach Pier and Plaza for 3 years,
Oh shit.
and
How did they even do that? Did they have like a picture of you floating around and they're like
I still went there a couple times, but I shouldn't have. Basically, if the arresting officers saw me, they would recognize me. But if it was somebody else, they
wouldn't know.
they wouldn't
Yeah.
fucking know.
Yeah.
But you better believe the fucking because the horses went, so
Sure.
whoever handcuffed me, if they saw me, they would be like, fucking motherfucker.
Yeah, they would.
Uh, and then so they lied and said I threw them directly underneath them and assaulted them, and that did not happen. And I kept my mouth shut, and there was no proof or evidence of me doing that. So they only got me with possession of fireworks 'cause I had a backpack full of them because I was selling them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm Mexican.
And so from that point until when you got sober, like what was your big catalyst to becoming sober? Did you have like a aha moment?
Yeah.
What was that?
I've said this on podcasts before, and I always regret it. Because as like before, when you start off in this business, you don't give a fuck. And then as you
Yeah.
start to get stuff, you're like, oh, wait, people can take away opportunities for you because of what you say. Basically, I tried to hook up with my cousin on my birthday.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, God, I get it.
Yep.
Keyword tried. My sisters were there and they put a stop. I don't even remember what happened. I got rubbed down by a gay dude, woke up naked, covered in olive oil, all lubed up.
Oh my gosh.
You know.
So it was a crazy little Thursday that you had.
Mm-hmm. It was a Sunday.
Yeah.
It was the day of the Lord.
Well, and I talk about that too. Even just having a podcast gets a little bit scary sometimes because I say a lot about myself on here. That I'm like, oh, if anybody wanted to pull anything up at any point, they could try to make something sound bad. But you know what?
The truth.
That's comedy.
The
period.
truth will set you free. I used to not give a fuck, and then I gave a lot of fucks, and now I'm going back like, yo, man, it is what it is. I'm not that person anymore. I'm sober. I have a good heart, and I'm a nice person. And if you know me and you know my truth, then you know what I'm about. And if you take one sentence out of context and paint me out to be a monster, you go fuck yourself, motherfucker.
Exactly.
I don't need that job. I don't need that shit. I'll build my own empire like fucking Rogan.
That's exactly how I look at it too. And I'm like, you know what? That's what this podcast is all about. Like, you can judge the shit out of who I was.
Yeah.
You can judge me now, but like and that's why I'm turning my wedding day into my comedy special. I'm like, a lot of people will be like, what is she doing? But like, this is for me. This is not for you. This is for
out
me.
of bad can come something good.
Right.
Out of that horrible night to where I was just like, what the fuck? Because I was on mushrooms, Molly, cocaine, pills, weed, alcohol.
You didn't know what you were
wasn't
doing.
a human. You know what I mean? But out of that horrible, bad shit can always come something good.
Yeah, and you created a career for yourself.
I literally said, I'm going to get sober and I'm going to do stand-up. And then I did.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it took years and about 200-300 rock bottoms. But that's what it takes sometimes because you're fucked up.
Yeah.
And you need therapy and you need help and you need this. You need AA or rehab or whatever you need. You need God.
Some people need to be shaken awake into their creativity too.
Yeah.
I feel like some people need like a jolt like that. Like come on, man.
Because I was always searching for that. And I always wanted the laugh, but I didn't have stand-up yet. So I reached for it with
drugs.
With drugs and alcohol and insane behavior that'll make the club laugh or the crowd laugh, the audience that wasn't the audience yet,
Right, right.
And then once I found my baby, a microphone and an audience, then it was over. It's like, oh, I found my home. I don't need that deviant behavior anymore. That seedy, dark narcotics bullshit, which... No narcotics. You want to smoke a little weed, eat mushrooms once, twice a year, and find yourself cool. Stay off alcohol and narcotics. They're the fucking devil. Yeah. I hate alcohol the most out of all of them.
That's so funny. That's what most people say.
Alcohol led to all my bad decisions. 99.9. Nobody smokes weed and goes, I want to sniff speed. Nobody does that. That's fucking alcohol. Alcohol. You're
Yeah.
shit faced.
Because
Someone
your
goes,
inhibitions go
"Hey,
away.
I got some speed." All right.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever smoked weed and been like, "I'm gonna shoot heroin." That's fucking alcohol, baby. 100%. Alcohol is a gateway drug,
Yeah.
not weed.
I agree.
Weed just made me eat too much cereal and get a tummy ache.
Weed used to, because it was shitty weed too when I was in high school. It was the type of weed that would get you high for like 30 minutes, and that
Yeah.
was it. You
Yeah.
know, so it was like, great, you smoke a little bit,
Not this
go on a
3-day
country
weed.
cruise. Yeah, exactly.
Over here in
Go on a
Cali.
little country cruise, say some funny shit, write a little bit of it down. And I used to keep journals, like funny
Yeah.
quote journals. Write a little bit of that down, reminisce on it later, and then you're not stoned anymore, and it's good.
Yeah.
I liked that simple life.
Weed can also be a dream killer, as I like to call it. I always tell my stoner friends, because I was such a stoner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you never knew me as a stoner, but I would smoke 2 G's to an eighth a day. I sold weed.
Fuck.
I sold weed for like 13 years of my life. I was Pineapple Express guy. I'm not kidding. Like, when that movie came out, I was like, that's me. I had 4 different kinds of weed, quarter pound of each. You had variety. I was the weed
Yeah,
store.
like a toolbox of it all.
Yeah, I did, and I loved it. And I had a little lock. I had a chest full with the
Yeah.
lock on it, and I was the weed shop before the weed shop. So, like, I love weed, and I still love weed. I don't smoke it anymore, but just the smell of it, the sight of it, I get happy. But like, I tell everybody, like, are you Bob Marley? Are you Joe Rogan? Are you John Lennon? No, then put the fucking pipe down. You work at Starbucks, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you're smoking like Bob Marley and you work at McDonald's or Trader Joe's, put the fucking pipe down, asshole. Go get some shit.
Go get it
then
done.
go back.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Because weed is insane in the sense that mailing a letter then becomes an impossible task. Like, I wouldn't do the most basic shit. Like, I have the money. All I have to do is mail the check. And like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll
Yeah,
do
you
it.
just
You're
ultimate
like, and then you're
procrastination.
late, and you're like, I'm late for no reason. I had the money. I have this. You're just like, what? And it was OG Kush. OG Kush did it.
OG Kush, and now we've come full circle.
And fuck all that other pussy ass weed. OG Kush only, baby.
Do you think you'll ever smoke it again one day when you're
Yeah,
doing your
probably
when you're the Chappelle
later.
of Craig's?
I almost smoked hash with Chappelle. I was hosting at the Comedy Store main room, and Chappelle pops in the green room. He's like, "Hey, can I go up?" And we're all like, "Yeah." He's so nice, so sweet. And then you smoke. I didn't even know who Post Malone was, but it was him, Post Malone, and a wrestler. And they're all smoking hash, and I'm bring up Dave Chappelle, and I'm 5 years sober at that time, and I was like, if Chappelle hands me hash, I'm gonna hit the hash. And John Mayer was there. It's so weird that I was a Trader Joe's employee hanging out with Dave Chappelle, Post Malone, and John Mayer, Judd
Right.
Apatow, and a wrestler. I forgot his name. My homie Brian Monarch's show. I was
Yeah,
hosting
yeah,
his
yeah.
show. And we're just in this green room of celebrities, and they're all hitting hash joint. And then I just said, I'm like, if Chappelle passes you that joint, you're going to hit it.
Yeah.
Thank God it didn't happen, and I had to go do hosting duties, and I had to leave the room. And to then bring up Chappelle,
Yeah.
and then I said to the audience, like, ladies and gentlemen, the reason the Comedy Store is one of the best clubs in the world is because you get special guest drop-ins, and we got one of those tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Chappelle. And then he was smoking hash, so he didn't come out. And I was like, he left me out there for like 30 seconds to a minute, but it felt like
Like
5
an
hours,
eternity.
because when you say Dave Chappelle to a sold-out Comedy Store show, the audience, it's instant standing ovation. They stood up and went, ah! And then I'm just standing there like, where is this motherfucker? And then like just not long, but it felt so long.
Yeah.
It was probably about 45 seconds. Like, I was like, I swear he's gonna come, and then finally he comes out. I go, Dave Chappelle, and then instant standing ovation again. And then he did like 30, and then him and John Mayer did another 30, and
Oh,
it was
fuck.
magical. It was
I haven't
so
seen them
dope.
perform together live. Chappelle has jumped on a bunch of shows that I've been on where just everybody gets kicked off the lineup and everyone's
Yeah.
fine with it, of course.
Oh, of course.
Because once Chappelle does his hour
Yeah.
of being Dave Chappelle on stage, you don't want to go up after that. I had somebody say that to me at one of the parlor shows he dropped in.
Yeah.
And at the end, they were like, if you still want to do some time, I was like, no. Who would want to do that?
No.
It would be the worst thing ever to have
Yeah.
to do, what, 7 minutes?
I'll still
after
try it.
Chappelle did an hour? Like, fuck that. Maybe one day. Okay,
Yeah.
so in closing, what do you got? Do you want? Where can everybody find you?
Craig P. Conant on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that shit. Look
Any
me up.
upcoming touring dates or anything funky like that?
When's this come out?
Tomorrow.
Okay, Florida, I'll be up in Orlando Improv with Michael Yo. I'm opening for Michael Yo.
Yay.
Orlando Improv. Go to it.
I
Friday,
have a lot
Saturday,
of friends
4
in Florida.
shows.
I'm going to send them. It's
Go
going to
to
be a
my
good
shit.
show.
And yeah, thank you. If you like farts, plants, sobriety, and also X drug talk, I'm your guy.
Perfect way to end. Peace.